Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 50th episode of Don't Forget the Popcorn. In the world of competitive media journalism, people can get a little besides themselves and go overboard for success. I mean, hell, even here on YouTube, people do insane things all for the interest of money and gaining an edge on their competition. The lens people will go to get attention and exposure can be excessive. Some may go against their moral code of ethics, all in the interest of fame, money, and power. Whether you want to be the face shown on the camera or someone behind the scenes, we know this is hard work, and to be at the top, most will have to do things that maybe they don't fully agree with. There have been several films about news journalism. Some of the best are Network, The Sweet Smell of Success, Broadcast News, All the President's Men, Almost Famous, Citizen Kane, Good Night and Good Luck, His Girl Friday, Zodiac, hell, even Anchorman. The subject is such a nice one to explore, seeing how much goes into journalism. I'm actually a communications major, and I enjoy learning about various forms of media and how the law and ethics of journalism work. We are surrounded by media all day, every day, advertising, music, TV shows, movies, magazines, you name it. It consumes our world every day, and we blindly consume it 24/7. With all of this talk of media, it brings me to what I think is one of the best movies about news and journalism we've ever gotten. The modern classic Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was released in 2014, directed by Dan Gilroy and starring Jake Gyllenhaal. What does success look like, and what's the price you're willing to pay for it? The beautiful nature of this film is it explores the darkest depths of our inner moral compass, makes you ask yourself, what would you do if no one was watching, and how far are you willing to go for success? There is a big association with great success and the disconnect those who possess it have with the common people of the world. There is a reason only a small amount of the population are rich. Wealth isn't easy to obtain, and a lot of times you must do things that others won't understand. Nightcrawler explores this theme in a brilliant and slightly terrifying way as you see a character study of a man who is willing to do almost anything in the name of success and the American dream. Jake, as Lou Bloom, has melted into this role, playing a night-crawling stringer filming news stories to sell for money. He lost weight and looks like he barely slept as we see a man transform from a petty thief with a personality disorder to a slick, successful businessman who will stop at nothing to get to the top. Nightcrawler is a film that understands exactly what message it wants to send, and it does it with ease as this story unfolds in your lap. It has a way of transforming your opinions on certain subjects multiple times as you watch this film. The beauty of this movie is it doesn't tell you how to think or feel about the characters or what's happening in the film. It plays out almost like a news story itself in the sense of it lays out all the facts with no hidden meanings or Easter eggs, really. You understand everything that's happening and every motive is put right on a plate for you to digest. Normally, I like a little ambiguity in my films, but in this journalistic joyride, I liked the way it was presented to me. It made me able to form a real true opinion on the film, its writing, and its themes without convoluted thoughts running through my head. The American dream is something I think all of us want deep down. From drug dealers to the lawyers that defend them, we all want that life in the best capacity we can create for ourselves. We want money, decent cars to drive, nice places to live, time to travel, and most of all, the peace of mind. If you've ever been in a position where you've had money in abundance and not had it, you know firsthand there is a different feeling for each position in life. Louis Bloom is no different. Quickly in this film, we learn he isn't what we call a regular guy. We clearly see he is very devious and also very intelligent, which can typically make the worst kinds of villains. Lewis wants to live comfortably just like everyone else. He does things many people may do in the shadows in order to get ahead in life. The value of hard work is infinite, and Lewis understands this, probably better than anyone else. As we cruise through the night with him as he embarks on quests to get money, we learn a lot of things about Lewis and the type of person that he is. As we can see, he is a person who likes to live life on the edge, which is easy to see why he is drawn to filming crime stories for the news. Lewis, as a person, clearly is socially awkward, even though strikingly intelligent. His early interactions with other people are a little uncomfortable at times, but you can see he has no problems lying and doing it very well, especially in the interest of his personal gain. Some may call him a sociopath, a psychopath, or a narcissist. He exhibits characteristics of all of these, but I'm no doctor, so I'm not going to diagnose this man. But we can clearly see he has something going on most people you meet don't. This may seem like a negative trait, but in this instance, it benefits Lou very well. Lou uses his wit and intellect along with master level manipulation skills and work ethic to climb from the bottom of the ranks of the world of news right to the top. As Lou gets his feet on the ground and starts to navigate the game of stringers, he does something that would be considered highly unethical. He does this and feels absolutely nothing for doing it, which, as an audience, you may question him and his ethics or maybe even agree with what he does. These character traits he possesses, along with his brilliance, can help you see why he gets where he does in his profession. Actions like this make us think about what the men in power have done behind closed doors. Do you have to be someone cutthroat to reach a certain status in life? Power and money come at a price, and it takes a special kind of person to pay it. The cost isn't monetary. You pay with what some would call your soul, making you lose yourself, thus opening the door for further actions like these down the road. Some believe in things like that, and some don't. I'm not here to tell you whether it's right or wrong, but to rather point out what makes these character traits interesting in a person and to break down the food chain of society. With success can come greed. They say money only makes you more of what you already are, and this is a prime example of that. Lou climbs the ranks of the news media and begins using devious manipulation tactics in order to obtain some of the most lustful things in life: money, sex, and fame. The ability to hold power over others. The ability to wave status and success as a weapon in order to get those around you or below you to succumb to your wants. Lou goes from a Toyota to a Challenger and from a street punk to a news legend. You must pay the cost to be the boss, and Lou does that. He begins losing sight of all his morals, if there even was any to begin with. As he breaks the law, invades privacy, and withholds important information, all for his own personal gain in one way or another. He manipulates those who help him believe in him the most, stripping them of their own morality and thus exposing that even some decent people still have a dark side. So much so that it could cost you everything in the end. In some eyes, people would see Lou as a villain, but some would see him as an opportunist. Lou represents everything we have been taught in America. Work hard, study hard, do anything to get what you want, look out for oneself, and you'll be able to live a good life in this country. Is Lou a devious monster or a slick guy capitalizing and making the most of every opportunity given to him? Do we as a society put too much emphasis on success? Is that the only way to measure a person's worth? Nightcrawler is a character study at the end of the day, but more than that, it's a film that puts you right into the passenger seat of the action. Set in beautiful LA, the film mostly takes place at night, seeing LA so gorgeously lit by the city lights, but also seeing what a crime-riddled and gritty city it can be underneath the surface. Gilroy captures this beautifully in his direction. We see such ugly acts coupled with this beautiful cinematography that gives us perfect harmony in this film. This movie is paced perfectly over its 2-hour runtime, with zero dull moments and great scenes that build the narrative and the characters brilliantly. Dan Gilroy wrote one of the best screenplays in the last 10 years, and it's very evident as you watch this film. As I was watching, I kept thinking to myself, man, this is really well written. The use of lighting in this movie is what I think is one of the best aspects. The look of this film feels natural and like the real world we live in. I felt like I was an outsider looking into a story as I was walking the streets of a major city at night. Another fun thing about this film is the score done by James Newton Howard, giving us an electro synth pop type of score that really had an 80s vibe but worked so well with the setting and adding to the suspense of this movie. The look and score work in perfect harmony here. The music almost feels like we're listening to it in his head while he's doing certain things. Jake Gyllenhaal and Rene Russo deliver some stellar performances in here. I'll tell you right now, Jake G, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated actors. Him and his agents picked the perfect roles for him. Honestly, look at his filmography. Not too many bad movies in it. In fact, some are quite exceptional, and he is the reason a lot of them are good. Nightcrawler is no exception. Jake gives, in my opinion, his best performance since Brokeback in this movie, and I think he got snubbed for an Oscar nom. Honestly, this film is solely dependent on its lead, understanding the assignment, and he knew exactly what to do. Rene Russo gives us a great performance as well, as she plays off of the quirkiness of Jake's character perfectly. They had great chemistry. This is a very impressive first feature film from Gilroy. He directed his ass off on this one. Only thing I can really say about the film on the negative is maybe you'd like to see a few things played out or explained more in detail. But honestly, I don't have many criticisms of the movie. It's not a perfect film, but a fun, rewatchable noir thriller that moves through 2 hours like butter. It's a fun movie, all while being suspenseful and creepy at the same time. It explores many themes that a lot of people struggle with every day. The end may leave some people upset or some people impressed. The way you feel about the ending likely will say a lot about the person that you are. Overall, I will give Nightcrawler an 8.7 out of 10. Guys, thank you so much for checking out my Nightcrawler review. Let me know if there is a film you'd like for me to review. Remember, guys, check me out on Letterboxd, Ralph Nader. I'll link that below if you want to see what I've been watching. I will be back next week, and don't forget the popcorn.